This is Marley K. Hope you all are well. I have a really important story to share with you. It is about digital IDs. It is from the Global Government Forum. This article was written in March of 2022, and then it was updated in June of 2022. But it is important because it is linked to technology, the technocracy that is being ushered in, um, all the plans that they have for us, including rationing, smart cities, um, jab passports, so on and so forth. So, digital IDs are going to be a huge staple in this new era, especially tied to digital currencies, you being able to buy, sell, or trade. And you all know that, I won't say you all know, but if you're a believer, you understand that this type of enslavement or punishment or persecution was prophesied about in the Bible. So this is why digital IDs are really important for believers, because it's one, a sign of prophecy fulfilling itself. But just for ordinary everyday citizens living, trying to be free, it's a way to be monitored. It's a different form of surveillance, but it's surveillance nonetheless. So let's get into it. Digital ID, what is it? Why is it needed? And how governments are developing it. Why are governments developing digital IDs? Governments around the globe are increasingly focused on the benefits of developing digital identify systems. The systems are viewed as ways to create secure online means for citizens to access government services as provision in increasingly moved online. So just over the couple of years since the planned event was rolled out, 2019, 2020, this is how you know a lot of this stuff was planned in advance. And so you had to create the problem or the crisis so that you can roll out this solution. So again, everything is manufactured in order to get the results that they want to achieve. However, moving government services online requires two capabilities. Departments must be able to share and match data on individuals, addressing any discrepancies between the data sets, and citizens need a single secure online access point. We don't need none of that. We need Miss Ann being in the office. We can go in there, talk to her. She can see us. We can provide whatever it is that she needs from us. We can leave, get whatever government service we're trying to access, and be on our way. Online, they never have any problem taking your money when you need to pay bills, when you need to do, you know, pretty much anything. Now, there are certain things that you need to be in, in person for. Like if you're going to get a passport, you need to show up in person. A real person needed to vet your stuff. They collect your identifications, send them off, and then they mail them back to you with your passport, or they mail them back before they send your passport. So while I understand there are some things that you can't do online, there are a lot of things that you can do online. So um, we've been fine all this time without any of this, and now suddenly with this planned event and this global resetting and this agenda that is supposed to take place by to settle, tres, settle. Um, it's just nonsense. But anyway, I want to give it to you so you'll know what's coming, because this is coming to us. We already have it in some ways, shape, or form, but it's not in a national sense, because a lot of states have been rejecting it because a lot of state representatives understand what's happening, especially in the South. The rebellious ones don't particularly like to be told what to do or controlled. So there's been a lot of resistance in the South. What is a digital ID? Recent research by Global Government Forum interviewed 7 senior national figures to find out what digital leaders need to succeed. The highlighted, it highlighted the need for a single citizen digital identity system built around either a unique identifier, such as reference numbers lying at the core of many national ID systems, or a golden record, a single source of truth. Check this out. A single source of truth held by a designated civil service body. So they're going to determine what the truth is, and then you have to meet the standard, or you can't be kept in their golden record, which is going to prevent you from buying or selling or getting whatever it is that they're trying to give to you. And so it's important to understand, like I was telling you, in Sri Lanka, Brazil, and a lot of the poorer places on earth, they've already instituted national ID systems, and you can't get your government benefits, you can't buy gas, you can't get your allocation or ration of whatever it is that they're rationing without some sort of digital identification. For some nations, it's a QR code on your cell phone. For others, it's an ID card with a chip in it. Um, Whatever that thing is, everybody has to have it. It's going to be uniform, and you have to have it in order to get whatever benefits from the government once they take over and control everything. In one case study example, the Estonian government has used its pre-existing national digital ID system to form the basis of the digital identity system. In other countries, they are building systems from scratch. The United Kingdom has recently embarked on a program to develop a digital ID, while 8 countries have drafted a set of high-level principles to support the development of mutually recognized and interoperable digital ID systems and infrastructure. So this means when you have these nations that build these systems, they're going to cooperate together. So you can't travel to that country if you don't have the digital ID, and all the digital IDs will be the same. They'll be recognized. It's like a passport now, um, but it'll be something else that has a chip in it, or a barcode that you must scan to go into a building to buy stuff, to show on an airplane. You know how you now they got rid of the paper boarding passes. When you fly, you could just download the app. You have the app, they know where you travel, you scan it, they know everywhere you go, and if you don't take it off your phone, they can track you. I typically like to I like to print my boarding passes, and that's why I do this, because I kind of understand what all this stuff leads to. But if you're a person who likes apps and um, think it's so convenient, like you are the person who has helped get us to this point, because you were tricked to think that all this stuff is just so easy and convenient. You want to save paper, they want to save the environment. No, they want to enslave you. The Digital Government Exchange Digital Identity Working Group said that the collaboration on digital ID could help facilitate economic recovery from COVID-19. For example, to support the opening of domestic and international borders. That's the vaccine passport. In nice words, see how they fluff that up? The 11 principles call for digital ID infrastructure to be open, transparent, reusable, user centric, inclusive and accessible, multilingual, secure and private, technological, neutral and compatible with data portability, administratively simple, able to preserve information, and effective and efficient. How governments are how are governments developing digital IDs in the UK, Germany, France, United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand? All the Saxon stomping grounds. And this is my problem with the digital IDs because everybody else out here just want to be free. But the Saxons want to know everything about everybody. That's just how they are. And they ain't gonna let you have peace and joy and liberty, be free the way the Most High intended. They gotta control everything because they believe they are God. So this is why you have to understand the battles that we are having are not just physical, they are spiritual in nature. And one day I'm gonna have somebody come on and talk to y'all about that. It won't be me because I can't do it. But I just want you to know, I know that much. This battle that we're in, it is very much spiritual. I would say these days it's more spiritual than natural. But you have to understand both to understand why these things are happening. The people on earth are trying to play like they're God in heaven, and can't be but one God. They can have little gods. They can pretend to be gods, but there's only one God. And eventually, he's going to make up an appearance and he's going to set the record straight. But until then, we have to keep watching, navigate. So that's what I'm doing. I'm helping y'all navigate this. Countries are taking different approaches to this issue. The UK's One Login program, which will allow users to create a government account to access services online or through an app. The program represents a shift in the government's approach. Its previous effort was known as GovUK Verify, a web platform that allowed people to register to prove their identity with the proof then accepted by government departments and agencies to access services. The system was intended to provide assurance for people to register for services such as benefits, but suffered from low take up, which means nobody didn't want to do that. And so, um, because people just don't see the need for it. And a lot of people are waking up to the fact that this handing over their privacy, once you hand it over, you don't get it back, or they tell you something is good, and it's just a farce. One other point that I wanted to bring out is that over the last probably 15 years, um, I've done work for the federal government, and I have friends that do contract work, and they continue to create these one-time login systems where you're logged into all these different databases at one time. You log in to use it, you log in to do business, you log in to bid on contracts, you log into the same system to get paid, to upload your invoices. And so there has been a gradual progression to this, but last year I could really see everything coming together, not in a good way. So I was like, oh, well, it's about time for me to figure out what I'm going to do because I'm not doing this. But it's happening. You just don't know it's happening. In order for you to get money or get paid from the government, they're requiring you to enroll in these services. And they're doing it at the federal level, and they're going to force the states to do it. So you'll see some states opt in, you'll see a lot of states rebel, and it's going to be difficult on the citizenry because they rely on, social services where a lot of the federal money comes in. And so if you don't do it, you won't get the money. So if you have states opt out, like they did during, you know, a lot of the stimulus money, a lot of states didn't take it, so a lot of people didn't get that extra money. It's going to be the same way with this digital ID stuff. Outside of Estonia, different European nations are also at different stages of development. The German government's Digital Identities Program now allows German citizens will be able to save their electronic proof of identity from their German ID card onto their smartphone and use that electronic ID function via their smartphones. You see, they want you to have a smartphone all the time. Keep it with you. They know people are addicted to them. They use them for everything. And if you get a digital ID, you can put it on your smartphone. They can track you even more. So not only is your phone telling on you just from giving off a signal at a web tower, and then the apps, and then your internet usage, your Google searches, your social media timelines and profiles, algorithms collecting data, all these things that a smartphone can do. Then you got to get a digital ID and put on there. So that's something else for them to be able to track you. The French government's the French government agency, I don't know who wrote this, but it was terrible. Nationales des Titres Secures, the National Agency for Secure Documents, has selected digital ID firm IDEMIA to work on its national ID program, France Identité Numérique. National plans in European countries will also dock in the European Commission's digital identity framework for citizens, with the German government stating our goal is to use interoperable ID solutions of the EU member states to establish a European alternative to non-European private ID services. So they're going to have something that they can use across the entire EU. So it's like their money. Everybody will have the same digital ID. You'll be using the same currency, digital currency. But notice the focus is on European stuff. And sadly, black and brown countries are following suit because they're being bullied into it. If they don't do this, they won't get certain perks. And it's not necessarily the countries per se, but it's the leaders that are in line with the West's agenda, and they are doing their bidding. So when you see a leader talking about this stuff, you already know who they belong to. When they tell you they're not doing it, you got to kind of look sideways because white supremacy plays both sides. But you should assume that these people are on the same team, or maybe not on the same team, I should say. Elsewhere, the Government of Canada's government digital strategy, which includes a continued effort to introduce secure digital identities for citizens, while the U.S. federal government has a program for a real-time digital ID verification service. In Australia, the government has already established a digital identifier system, with legislation published to expand the existing process to a whole of economy solution so that all levels of government and private sector, especially small and medium businesses, can participate and share in the efficiencies and benefits that digital identity will bring for them and the community. The development of a digital identity system is a key foundation outlined in the New Zealand government's strategy for a digital public service, with legislation planned to create a digital service trust framework after investment in the system was approved by ministers in June 2021. Notice all this stuff is coming online when the event took place, or since the stuff, the virus. DGX's Digital Identity Working Group report highlighted that although its member countries' existing policies were specific to their respective governments' requirements around digital identity, all were broadly aligned to ISO standards, EU standards, or industry best practice. Across most member countries, trust frameworks, policy, and legislation have already been developed, y'all, with future mutual recognition and interoperability in mind, opening up a broad opportunity to achieve interoperability between the digital identity systems and infrastructure, it said. So there are several um, articles on this page about digital identity schemes. If you remember in my video about the rationing, and they continue to use the word scheme, I want you to be mindful of the play of words. Um, but here, they say Pakistan to launch a digital ID wallet this year. 8 countries set out principles for the digital ID. Um, Asking experts, what do digital leaders need to succeed? Global report reveals senior officials lack understanding to drive digital transformation of government. And I would read these articles, one, because the West is leading the charge on these horrible ideas. But think about, we can't protect ourselves from being hacked now. Our emails are hacked. Our cars are constantly taken. Like, you can't protect your identity with in a digital framework. It's impossible because everything is hackable. So it's not like you go to the birth certificate place, you pick up your birth records, you bring them home, you put them in your safe. You're not gonna let anybody in your house. The only way anybody gets your birth records is if they break into your house, you lose them, or somebody breaks into the system that maintains the original records. So it's a very slim down process and makes misplacement, theft, or some type of hack impossible. Your end anyway. But with all this digital stuff, if you've had your bank account um, broken into, like people have taken money from it, you've had your debit card skimmed, you've had somebody steal your wallet and they use your identity to go use your credit cards and so on and so forth. um, People can make technology and scan anything that's digital and remake it. So it's not safe. It's just surveillance. It's not going to make anything better. It's going to make the problems worse. And we just don't have any, we won't have as much control. So I'm not a proponent of digital nothing. As you can hear, I like freedom and liberty and privacy and to be left alone. So I think it's a stupid idea. And I just wanted to tell you about it. But anyway, regardless of whether it's stupid or not, it's here. A lot of states already have the real IDs that you got to have in order to fly. They take your identification, scan it, and you go to your gate if you're traveling on a flight. And it's not in all airports, but when I used to fly out of Miami and Fort Lauderdale, they definitely had it there because those were international airports. But you know, understand what's coming. It is coming. So if you like this video, please like it, share it with people so that they understand what is coming, and it's coming online soon. Subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. Also, subscribe to my other channels in the event that this channel is taken down for me sharing information that is helpful to you and not the hidden hands. And y'all be safe because a lot of things are going to be transpiring over the next year or so, and it's going to happen fairly quickly. So be on the lookout for these things and don't be surprised. But please research everything so that, if you're planning on rebelling, you understand what that entails. If you plan on going with the program, you also understand all that entails. And don't just go by, oh, it's going to be good and it makes things better for the environment. It's going to be easier. It's better. Look at everything that they told us would be better for us over the past 25 years. And look where we are. Their track record is bad. It's terrible. Um, so if you're a black person, please just wake up and smell a coffee. If you are not a black person, understand the ramifications of continuing to go along with these plans and stop being so gullible. Pray, repent, seek forgiveness, get your head in the word, understand that these agendas are going as planned, and there's not much we can do to opt out of them. So, you know, we have to rely on a higher power in order to make it out of this and to fight. And that's what I do. Um, and I'm recommending, if you follow me, you do the same. The only way we're getting out of this is through the Most High. He promised that he would not leave us or forsake us. And I'm believing in that. Other than that, it's pretty darn depressing right now. But guess what? We got somebody fighting our battles, and all we got to do is just sit back and wait. But we do need to watch, and we do need to prepare. So, faith without work is dead. Do your homework, keep the faith, and I'll be back shortly to give y'all something else that you need to watch out for. All right, love my people. Want y'all to be well. I'm out.